All right. What's going on, family? Family, it's been so long. I missed you guys so much. I am back with another Grow Your Business episode, and I am super excited because we have taken a little bit of a hiatus. We were gone for a little bit, but now we're back and we're in full throttle. And it's really so much introduction, so much new things to talk about. I mean, you guys have been keeping up with the AI. It's just been insane. You guys have been watching all the things that my team and I are putting out, where they're literally recreating me as an AI digital twin and creating content on my behalf. This is not the AI. This is actually me. This is me live streaming. But I just want you guys to know we have been cooking up some incredible stuff the last couple of months, and I'm just super excited to share with you guys. We're going to touch a little bit on a couple of pieces of what we're working on, but I promise you I got so much more to share with you and so much more things happening in the ecosystem of GYB, of Chris Mateo, and so much other things. The first thing I want to address before we get into the tech and before we get into all the stuff happening in our business and what's coming in the last quarter here, I want to start off with just giving you guys an explanation and understanding on what's been going on and why I've been gone for so long. So the first thing I want you guys to understand, excuse me, hold up, the camera's about to fall. We're good. There we go. Okay, so the first thing I want you guys to understand is that I've been with the Panaderos. Panaderos is my softball team and my dad's softball team. Panadero stands for bread man, the bread man. I have been a bread man for the last 4 to 6 months because that is my family business. That is the business that I started with. That's the first entrepreneurship journey I really had. And I have basically come back to my roots to work with my dad on this bread route business. I got the opportunity to buy 2 bread routes at a discount price around 4 to 6 months ago. So me and my wife took a little break from our digital nomad lifestyle. We was traveling for over a year all over the world, England, Europe, France, Switzerland, Spain, Dominican Republic, back to America, back to Europe. So we kind of did a lot of that for a year or so. And then we wanted to really be closer to my family, be closer to my little brother, my mom, and everybody like that. So we decided there's an opportunity to buy a business and settle down around our family. So we moved from Atlanta over to Connecticut and have been here for the last 4 to 6 months. And the whole thing that we're doing now is building up this bread business that me and my dad have been doing for a long time. Before I did the marketing, before I did everything I've done on business online, I was doing bread. I was delivering bread since I was like 10 years old with my dad. So my dad's owned bread routes my whole life. And luckily now I get to carry on that legacy and help him build. And what I'm super excited, and the thing that I see as the big opportunity, is that I get to bring my marketing, my business operations, my automation, my tech, my skills, and my wife's skills and everything we offer at GYB. And we get to bring it into this new market and this new concept of bread routes and logistics. And logistics, just so you guys understand, the logistics business and the last mile business is one of the biggest opportunities in the world right now, especially as more and more things get automated, more and more things get AI'd. Now, the people in the local markets that have the relationships with the stores, that have the relationships with the customers, those are the most valuable relationships in the marketplace today. So I have really shifted my concept. Previous to a year ago, I was really focused on global advertising, global marketing, global campaigns, and trying to reach as many people that were interested in what we got. And I've kind of pivoted from that, and now we're going all in on local. So we're hyper local, hyper focused on what we can do in our immediate surrounding areas of Milford, Stratford, Fairfield, Norwalk, Westport, Greenwich, all of these Connecticut coastline cities. We want to dominate. We want to be the number one marketing agency. We want to be the number one bread route. We want to be the number one moving company, local pet sitters, whatever it is to be a local based service company. We want to be number one in all ecosystems out here. So I just want to set the groundwork on why I've been gone, is because I've been setting up these local systems and proving them and testing them and building out the process so that then we can do this across multiple towns and hopefully multiple states in the coming future. So our goal and my goal specifically is to get to 10 plus routes in the next year or two. And then after that, my next goal is to get to 100 plus routes under my family office, under my family business. And then the goal is to partner with others so we can get to over 250 routes as a unit, as a network. So meaning we partner with those other 150 people or 100 people who want to grow routes with us. So that's the laying the groundwork on where I've been the last 3 months. I've been building up my AI app for GYB. So I didn't leave you guys hanging. We got a lot of new updates, a lot of new features, a lot of great stuff coming. We've been updating the CRM system on the GYB side, and we've been bringing on amazing personnel on the team to help us get more streamlined and more structured. So I am super excited for this last quarter and what we got to offer for you guys. I think the updates that we have coming from a tech perspective, the updates from a business opportunity perspective is going to be incredible. I mean, this stuff that I'm doing with the bread routes, just so you guys understand my vision for it, I see this as an opportunity similar to Uber, where Uber became the biggest taxi company without owning any taxis or having any taxi drivers. They just saw there was a need in the marketplace for people with cars that were sitting around and not making money and people that needed rides. And then they put it together. I see the same opportunity with the bread space right now. There's a lot of people that need support and they need employees and they need contractors and people to help them with their bread route business. And there's not enough workers and route drivers and people who know how to do this business to help them. So what we're doing is we're actually going to be training the people and the employees and contractors so that then they could be on the platform that we're creating and actually service other owners. Not just us, they'll start servicing us first and we'll get them trained up and get them to be doing a certain level of work. And then we'll place them into other companies and other organizations. And eventually the goal would be to partner with these contractors so then they can buy routes with us and scale with us. So it's a huge Uber type of ecosystem I'm trying to build over there. And there's a lot of moving parts to it. So I don't want to get too caught up on that. We'll be touching on that on more bread man talks and bread stacking talks and stuff like that with my guy Jerome. Shout out to Jerome. RBL, Real Bread Life, is going to be going live in about an hour and a half or so. I'll probably meet up with him over there and talk more about this specific concept on the bread business. Now, changing gears a bit, let's go into GYB, AI, and what I love. Y'all know I'm geeky about this stuff is all the tech, right? So what I got as an amazing thing cooking up right now is I'm going to be dropping a book a month. Starting next month in October, I'm going to start dropping a book a month. And I'm just super excited because my first book that I'm going to be dropping is Superhuman. Okay. Literally, the name of the book is, oh, there it is. Will technology make us superhuman? That's the name of the book. Will technology make us superhuman? This is the preview page, the pre-sale page, so you guys can get an idea of what we got. You can leave it up, Devin, please. Shout out to my creative director and partner here helping me with this entire live stream. Devin, you're doing amazing. So this right here is our book that we got coming out in October. I'm going to do a launch in October for this one book, but then I'm going to be creating a bunch of books every single month on AI, specifically on AI, my thoughts on AI, the way I see everything unraveling and the way I see things happening based on thousands of hours of research, thousands of hours of learning from people way more advanced than me. I'm talking about the head of technology for Google, the head of technology for Salesforce and HubSpot and these different things. I listen to a lot of CTOs and understand where they're thinking and where they're taking those forward-thinking companies. So this book, Will Technology Make Us Superhuman, is all about that concept on what is the technology that can actually make us superhuman and what does it mean to be superhuman? Some people, superhuman means you got to be like Superman and you got to fly. Well, to other people, it's already superhuman that we can fly because we can get in jets and planes and fly. So technically, to some people, we are already superhuman because we can already fly, right? But to others, that doesn't count because I need to individually be able to fly. So until I have a jetpack that can make me fly, I'm not superhuman. Or until I have superhuman strength, I'm not superhuman. Well, let me explain to you guys what's happening with AI and with the technology and why this book is going to open your eyes to all the things that are coming in AI. So the first thing to understand is you already have superhuman capabilities today, right now. ChatGPT 5. Grok 4, Gemini Pro, all of these different AI systems are already PhD level geniuses in your pockets. That means they already are scoring better than 85% of the average population. So they're already getting a B on every single subject you can ask on it: math, science, business, whatever. Ask it about poetry, about art, about music, about videos, whatever it is that you're passionate about. This AI is already making us a PhD level college grad at whatever it is you ask it a question. That's the first thing to understand. We already have superhuman capabilities today with what we have in our phones right now. So once you understand that part, now you have to start visualizing and thinking about what happens next. Because if we're already in 2025, September, and we already have superhuman intelligence in our pockets, what happens next? Superhuman capabilities, superhuman tools, superhuman resources, superhuman platforms. Let's break that down. What do we talk about? Tools. ChatGPT right now is a tool. I can ask it questions about my blog, about my social media, about marketing, whatever, right? But I need it to do stuff for me, which is what you're seeing now in the age of agentic AI, agents. So now ChatGPT 5, the reason I love it so much is because on ChatGPT 4, I was the one switching between all the models of, oh, I need an image, I need a video, I need a blog post, I need this. And I would have to switch between all the large language models on which one was best at doing that thing. Now with ChatGPT 5, I can say, make me a graphic, and it's going to tell the graphic image generator bot to make that bot. It's not going to try to do it on its own because it's not the best at image generating. This is a new concept because it's basically like having a now you don't have just one PhD person. You have a project manager or a COO, a chief operating officer, who's controlling and managing your team of PhDs. I hope you guys are understanding what I'm saying here. So you went from just having one PhD genius to now having 100 PhD geniuses and one person that understands you, which is your ChatGPT or Grok or Gemini. And then they distribute that workout to all those other AI agents. This in reality right now, for free, because you can use ChatGPT 5 for free. The person who can, a teenager, 12-year-old, 18-year-old, 20-year-old today has more leverage, more intelligence, and more power than Henry Ford. Just understand what I'm saying. Then the president, Obama. Let's just say President Obama, which is literally 2 presidents ago, Biden and Trump. 2 presidents ago, you now have more direct knowledge, compute power, billions of infrastructure, support, the best geniuses in the world working on a device and a solution for you. If that doesn't make us superhuman today, I don't know what does. And now when you start talking about robots, they're going to be adding humanoid robots. They already have exoskeletons, things that you can put on like a backpack or a t-shirt, and it actually makes you super strong. Like I can put on pants that have robot legs attached to them so that now I can run for miles or hours when I couldn't even walk before because the pants and the actual exoskeleton is helping me walk. This is what we're talking about, superhuman capabilities. They're creating right now genetics that solve cancer, that solve blindness, that solve all these things because AI can look at our genetics and our cells and actually be able to compute and create solutions for problems that we have in our genes right now, because our genes are just like a code. They're the only difference between the genes in our body and a code on a website or an app is that the genes in our body is trillions and trillions and trillions of lines of code versus a app or a website is only a couple thousand, if not a million lines of code. So the capability of being able to create a website or app at this point has become a lot easier. You've heard of things like vibe coding, where you can just talk in English or Spanish or any language that you speak to another person in, and then the AI will create an app for you. So I can literally go into Lovable or Bolt.new or Replit or Cursor. These are all vibe coding applications where you just tell it what you want. Make me an AI, a Airbnb app. Make me an Uber app. Make me a Walmart app. And it will literally go out and create the entire app for you. This is the power of being superhuman, guys. We can now have the same economic power, economic force, and economic influence as Barack Obama did only a few years ago as the president. That's what AI is giving to us. That's what technology and being superhuman is all about. So I hope I set the groundwork for you guys to understand what's happening there. What I'm going to answer next is, in your view, my view, what actually unlocks a person's superhuman potential? Is it the mental? Is it the spiritual? Is it the digital? Or is it all of it? This is a great, great question. So to me, when you start unlocking superhuman potential, it starts with the mental. That's why AI is only as effective and good as HI, human intelligence. So if the human intelligence isn't there to actually produce, the AI is not going to produce. Meaning, it's just like Google. If I don't know what to search in Google, I won't get good results from Google. If I search crap, Google will give me crap. If I prompt crap, AI will give me crap, right? So the whole point of this concept, how do I become superhuman? You first have to start thinking superhuman, because what I'm realizing, especially learning from a lot of these futurists and technologists, people who build the future and the present that we're currently in, what I realize is they have a different mental model. They have a different way of understanding the world and thinking about their visions and the way that we're going to interact with technology. So when I start with anything, whatever it is, if it's the bread business, logistics, operations, marketing, HR, I start with what is the mental model of how I would be doing this in a year, in 3 years, in 5 years from now. And then if I have a good mental model on that, then I can start making a roadmap on what technology, resources, and tools I would need to build out for the next 2 to 3 years to support myself and my clients in that process. And this is the way you end up getting enhanced with AI and not getting replaced. And this is a very key concept in my book, Becoming Superhuman, because if we're not, will technology make us superhuman is such a powerful question, because if we're not actually thinking about how to enhance our capabilities and enhance our customer experience, then 1000% you will be replaced. 1000% the robot is going to make better graphics than you. The robot is going to make better lifting and deliveries and all this stuff. So it doesn't matter what sector of the economy you're in, a robot will do better at that thing than you. But a robot cannot do better at the experience, the entire ecosystem of products and services that you're offering to your clients. Meaning, for example, I'm a marketing agency. I do graphic design. I do video and editing and all that stuff. But my job is not just that one task. So I can use a chat GPT or something to make a graphic or help me with a video, but I can't have it create the entire campaign, manage the entire campaign, optimize the entire campaign, and strategize the entire campaign. Now, what we're building and what we're trying to do with GYB AI is going to be a tool that does do that thinking and execution for you. And that's in the process of being made right now. But the step one is aligning that mental model of this is what I want to do and fulfill for my clients with this, with the actual resources now, the knowledge, the database to come in. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. All right, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. So what I was saying was, once you align that mental model, and now you can align all of your assets, your AIs, your team members, your intellectual property, your wisdom and knowledge. I can now map it to that mental model of what I want to be doing and what I want to be providing in the next 2 to 3 years. And if you upgrade your experience, meaning if I take myself out of the mindset of I'm just a marketing agency, or I can just do graphics, or I can just do videos, and I put myself in what else can I provide for my customers now that the AI is helping me do those graphics or helping me do those videos. Now you're going to provide a higher level service, a higher level experience, and hopefully charge a higher level price. And that is the entire concept of technology making us superhuman. When you start tapping in with this, you start to understand I can create a better experience for my customers. I can create a faster result for my customer. And in turn, I can charge more money to my customers. That is the true power of becoming superhuman, right? And then lastly, spiritually. Spirituality is so important, especially when you're dealing with agents, AI, and all of this stuff, because if you're not ethically aligned, if you're not values aligned, and your AI is not ethically and valued aligned with you, then they can do different things and create different outputs that you're not okay with. An example would be you tell it to market your business to grow your business, but then it goes and does something, markets it to the wrong person, or does something that didn't come out the way you wanted it to. This is the opportunity for you to actually think deeper and say, okay, what could I do to align my ethics and my values and my spirituality with this? And the way we do that is context windows. So context windows is educating your AI. So if I log into my ChatGPT versus if Devin logs into his ChatGPT versus if Charlotte logs into her ChatGPT, we're going to have three different experiences, because just like social media, it's an algorithm or an AI tailored, curated process. So it's creating my algorithm. My news feed is for me. It's based off of what I liked, what I commented on, what I shared. Same thing happens in AI and in ChatGPT and in Grok. You're seeing, and the answers you're seeing are based on your past conversations. So if I, the reason my ChatGPT can talk to me about marketing, business, bread routes, and everything that I talk about is because I've had all these thousands of conversations about these topics, and it has all that context, all that memory to be able to give me better results. So the first thing you want to do is teach and educate your AI so that it knows who you are, what you do, why you do it, how you do it, what you charge for it, and who you serve. If you can start that who, what, where, when, why, and how with your Chat GPT or Grok or Gemini, it's going to give you 10x better results than if you were just to ask it without logging in and without giving it any education. Okay. So definitely align that ethics and values, the spirituality with the mental model, and then use all of these different resources to make them all work in alignment for your goals and your dreams. Okay. All right. Can someone working a regular 9 to 5 tap into this, or is this just for entrepreneurs? This is an amazing question. This opportunity right now of technology is for everyone. If it's for students, it's for teachers, it's for kids, it's for grandpas and grandmas, it's for everyone in between, from 5-year-olds to 95-year-olds and everybody in between. If you can see and you can have hands and talk, you don't even have to have all three of those. You don't have to see and talk and hold your hands. But if you could do one of those three things, you can talk to AI and it can help you. So I can talk to my ChatGPT without my eyes and without my hands. I can text to ChatGPT without my eyes and without my voice. And I can just see it. Well, I don't know if you can actually, you can't, images, I guess. So you can type and then see it. That'd be the best, right? But the whole point is, if you have the capabilities to interact and communicate with another person effectively, you can do this with AI. So it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur, doesn't matter if you're working for someone or trying to get out of the 9 to 5 grind and get into entrepreneurship. At all levels of life, this stuff helps. At all levels of life, AI will make your life better and easier. And as long as we stop fearing it and stop looking at it as it's going to replace us, it's going to take this, it's going to take that, but look at it as it's going to give. It's going to give me time. It's going to give me freedom. It's going to give me more time with my loved ones, more time to do things that I love to do with other people and things of that nature. This is the true essence of humans. When we first came to this planet, was not to be working 40, 60 hours a week and barely having any time with our family and friends. The actual real life, when we were hunters and gatherers, people used to hunt for one day a week, and then the rest of the week they would hang out and celebrate and enjoy that week's hunt. That is the way we used to live, but no longer do we live like that. Now we work 5 days to have 2 days off. So before we used to work one day to have 6 days off. So that's the way God intended it to be. And I think with AI and with what's coming, that's what it's going to go back to. We're going to live in an age of abundance, in an age of a renaissance, where now people are going to be able to have as much energy as they want and as much robots and technology doing things for them as they want, where now it becomes abundant, limitless. There's nobody stopping it. If I want to make a t-shirt, I can have my robot knit me a t-shirt from scratch, or I can 3D print out 5 t-shirts if I want. So that t-shirt goes from being $20 to now it's worth 5 cents or 10 cents. So that's the concept of scale, of growing and being involved with this type of superhuman thinking and superhuman technology. So now let's get into the next part. So the chapter 2 is the rise of synthetic minds. This is huge, guys. What is the simplest way to understand a synthetic mind, and how does it work, right? So what's happening right now, so you guys understand this question and why this chapter is important. AI has learned everything on the internet. It's watched every YouTube video, it's read every blog, it's watched every website, everything. So AI has already consumed all of the internet. What the synthetic mind is, it's fake scenarios or projections or possibilities that the AI creates. So think about this. So, for example, there's two car companies right now that are both leading the way in self-driving. There's Waymo for Google, and then there's Tesla for Tesla and Elon, right? And they have two different ways on the way they're teaching the cars and the robots to drive themselves. The Waymo and Google team, they're doing what's called synthetic training, meaning they simulate Los Angeles or New York City based on all of the renderings and the data they have, and then they act as if the car was in the software driving through that, and a passenger walks by, or car or cat or whatever. And then based on the scenario, it's simulating real life, and the car should make the decision. It should stop for the pedestrian. It should move to the right, to the left, or whatever. And then the programmer saying, yes, good answer. No, bad answer, if it didn't do it right. Versus Tesla is based on real life data. So it's a driver in the driver's seat. There's cameras. And when they drive up and they stop, the car is taking that data in, that they stopped for a cat, they stopped for a pedestrian. And so it's learning the same thing. They're both learning to stop for a pedestrian, but one is doing it in a simulated world or a synthetic world, while the other is doing it in real life world and where we are today. Now, the reason this is important is because if you understand how important our real life experience, our real life wisdom, problems, stress, wins, and challenges are, you understand the opportunity to make a AI that can solve those problems and create that solution. So the real thing with synthetic data is it's solving fake problems that don't really exist, right? So the synthetic mind, it's going to take the AI and the robots down a path of, this is a good concept. Like we want them to learn to stop for pedestrians. We want them to learn how to drive and do all these things, but it's not as applicable unless it's in real life. And that is what Elon keeps bragging about, is that he has the smartest real life AI, because while ChatGPT and all these other platforms, they're being trained on synthetic data and internet data, Tesla bots and Tesla cars are being trained on real driven miles. So Waymo has, I think, millions of miles driven synthetically, and Tesla has millions of miles driven organically in real life. So this is going to be the big divide of what's happening over the next 2 to 3 years. You're going to see a lot of companies choose a route. They're going to go either real data in real life, or they're going to go synthetic data and simulated data, right? In virtual worlds. I'm going to do a bit of both. And I think my approach and what I suggest everybody is to do a bit of both, because you want to leverage both. What do I mean by this? we as the consumers get to be the beneficiaries of both parties. So when Waymo wins and they get success, and Tesla wins and they get success, we get the option of buying both and getting a ride on both options, right? So this is very important, because if you're not 100% sure on what your role is going to be, I would say learn from the data of both, because then you can start to, with that data that you have from the synthetic data and the real life data, you can start bringing in your past experiences, your wisdom, and your knowledge, and now being able to build a better mental model and being able to think 1 year, 2 year, 3 year down the road. Very, very important. Okay. So I hope that answers the question on, the rise of the synthetic mind, why it's important, how it relates to all of this AI stuff. My preference is always going to be real life, because I want to build an AI that's based on HI, human intelligence. And I feel like there's so much talk about AI, but there's not enough talk about HI. Human intelligence is the unlock. If we're not doing the human intelligence right, it doesn't matter how much super intelligence we have, because it's going to be a bunch of dumb people controlling a bunch of smarter things. And then those smarter things are going to control the dumb people. So the whole point of what I'm trying to do, what these technologists, these futurists, these CTOs are trying to do, and what I'm trying to do with this book campaign and all the stuff I'm trying to do, is educate the world on how do we leverage it. How do we, the same way we use a machine or a washing machine or a dishwasher now, those are things that used to be jobs, right? There used to be someone who only washed dishes all day for everybody, I guess, or whatever. Or that used to be the mom used to come home and have to wash the dishes after she did work or whatever. Now there's a dishwasher. You press the button, put it in there, and it does it all for you. Now there's a microwave. Now there's a coffee machine. Now there's clothes washing machines. All of these were manual things you had to do. AI is going to do that for a lot of thinking things. And if we don't start using our brain to think, they're already showing studies that AI is actually decreasing cognitive strength. This is crazy, because I use ChatGPT religiously, probably like 3 to 4 hours a day, and I have nothing but, I feel like I'm a genius at everything, because I'm constantly asking it questions and engaging with it, and it's educating me. So I feel like my cognitive skills have gone up 10x in the last 6 months. And meanwhile, I'm reading studies that people's cognitive skills have gone down in the last 6 months. And this is so important, because I'm using it as leverage to help me grow my businesses and think in different ways and simulate different paths. So, hey, if I spend $100 on ads today, what would be potential outcomes, right? That's the way I'm using it. While other people are using it to actually think for them. And that's when you're going to end up just being dumb and not actually, like, the AI is going to replace you, because you actually don't know how to think. You're letting the robots think for you. We always have to think. Our human intelligence has to come first. And that comes from learning from other humans, reading books, all that type of stuff. So let's move on to the next one. We're going to go into chapter 3. This is going to be the last chapter on this book that I'm touching on. And then we're going to go on to another topic, okay? Again, we're talking on we're talking about, will technology make us superhuman? My new book dropping in October. And this is a preview. And I'm just touching on a couple of the concepts here on what you can do to become superhuman. On chapter 3, we talk about the age of intelligence arbitrage. The term intelligence arbitrage, can you break it down? I've been talking about this the entire setup. The last 42 minutes, I've been telling you guys about intelligence arbitrage, leverage, the word leverage, right? Devin, can you do me a favor? Send me in the chat what the definition for leverage is, because I just want to. Leverage and arbitrage are almost the same thing, at least from my understanding. I'm going to give me both of those definitions, please, Devin. But to me, arbitrage is, there's an opportunity right now in the marketplace. 99.9% of the people in the world have never heard of ChatGPT, Grok, or Gemini. Just so you guys understand, there's 8 billion people, and there's only a couple million people on these platforms. I don't think there's even hundreds of millions of people on these platforms yet. So what that means is, this opportunity for you to come in is huge, because very few people know about this technology, but the whole world is going to need this technology. So right now in today's market, anyone would pay $50 to $100 for a logo, let's just say, right? For a logo or any simple graphic design flyer or anything like that. Well, with ChatGPT, it literally cost me what, 5 cents of credit or for free if I have the free plan to generate an image and a flyer and a graphic or a logo. So I can literally charge somebody $50 to $100. I can literally go to ChatGPT and give them 10 variations of logos and then tell them to choose the favorite one. And I got paid $50 and I made the difference. That is arbitrage. That is leverage. That is the difference between what the current market rate for something is and what I can currently get that same product or service done for. And if you're using AI, you're able to leverage this 10 to 100x right now. And that's the giant opportunity that no one is talking about. And that I hope with this live and this book and everything that I'm getting into, you guys can really understand that. Why is leverage more important than hard work now? Ooh, this is some good questions. Let me read the definition of leverage. The exertion of force by means of a lever or an object used to manner of a lever. Leverage, I can use borrowed capital for an investment, expecting the profits made to be greater than the interest payable without clear legal title to their assets. They own property that cannot be leveraged as collateral or loans. Use something to maximum advantage. The organization needs to leverage its key resources. Okay, so my favorite out of there's a couple different definitions there. So I'm going to read my favorite out of that. The exertion of force by means of a lever or an object used in the manner of a lever. Okay, the original concept of leverage came from when you had a big item, let's say a rock, and you needed to put a stick under the rock and pull down on the other side of the stick so that that stick could leverage your weight and the rock's weight against this so that now the rock can move. That's my consideration of leverage. When you are battling something that's bigger than you, but then you use an instrument or a asset to leverage it so then the thing that was against you is now working for you. Is that making sense? So in the case of the rock is my opponent or my problem. I can't move the rock physically by myself. But now with this leverage, aka this steel pipe or this stick, I can stick it under the rock and put something in between the stick and the floor, and now I can jimmy it and lift it and move that rock to where I want it to move without me doing anything different besides adding this leverage, this stick. And then the definition used the example of they might not have enough money to buy a business, but they used capital, they leveraged capital from the bank, they leveraged other people's money to go and buy that business with the expectation that if they buy the business at a cheaper rate, the money that the business will make is going to give them the opportunity to not only pay back the person who lent them the money, but also make a profit. That is leverage. Now let's go into arbitrage. Definition: the simultaneous buying and selling of securities, currency, or commodities in different markets or in derivative forms in order to take advantage of differing pricing for the same asset. Beautiful, beautiful explanation right there. So that's what we're talking about. That is finding something. So, okay, I just found out the difference between leverage and arbitrage. I hope you guys saw it live right there. So leverage is that tool that allows you to switch up. The leverage is the tool that allows you to switch the adversity into an opportunity. Arbitrage is the difference of what it takes to produce something versus who I sell it to and their value of that product. So meaning if I buy a stock at $1 and then I go over here and sell it to somebody who is willing to pay $10 for this stock, that's an arbitrage because these people over here were only willing to pay $1, but these people over here were willing to pay $10. That's arbitrage. So arbitrage is where the opportunity is happening / to who. Leverage is what you're leveraging, what you're doing. So for the bringing it back to AI and superhuman, AI and ChatGPT and Grok, that is the leverage, right? They are giving you unfair advantages. Now you take that leverage and you create the arbitrage. You make the opportunity by making graphics, making videos, making whatever things you can do on the AI, and then selling that to the other market who doesn't know about this stuff yet. Huge opportunity. And I'm telling you, for the next 3 years or so, this will be the number one thing where people are going to be making billions of dollars. Talking about single people, like one person can make $1 billion now with all of these AIs in their pocket. So let's end this on this right here. Why is leverage more important than hard work today? Leverage is more important than hard work today because while you're sitting around trying to do everything manually and trying to do it the old-fashioned, true and tried ways, someone like me has figured out how to AI and automate that same thing and get it done 10 to 100 times faster. Now, I want you to understand realistically, what does exponential growth or that type of speed look like? What that means is let's just say there's a high-end expert artisan graphic designer. He charges $100,000 a logo for this expert graphic designer. It takes him 1 week to do that one logo. Now he has 30 years of experience, has done logos for Coca-Cola and the biggest brands in the world. Cool. Now me, a nobody with ChatGPT, I can do about 1,000 logos. 1,000 logos in that week. And that's me being generous, but I could probably do 1,000 a day. But let's just say I do 1,000 in a week while he does one. What is the likelihood and the opportunity that I'm going to get not just one, but probably 5 logos that are better than his one? Now, his one might have a little bit extra sauce to it, a little bit touch to it. But now, if I can find 5 that can at least compete with his one in the next week while he iterates and fixes that one logo, I'll make another 5,000 off of the top 5 that I liked. This is the difference between someone working harder, not smarter, guys. It doesn't matter how smart you are and how great you are at making graphics. If you're not leveraging this technology, the guy who's twice as bad as you is going to pass you every single time because they're able to produce 10 to 100 times more than you. So they'll make 100 mistakes before you've made 2. There's no way you can beat them. That's the reason Elon Musk beats everybody. Because while the whole world waits around and doesn't want to make mistakes because they're publicly traded companies and their stock value will go down, Elon Musk goes out and fails so much and so fast that he went and did all these rockets and was failing for like 5 years. The company was about to go bankrupt, SpaceX, from the rockets, and then it worked, and then it worked over and over and over, and then another one blew up, and then it worked over and over again. But because he did so much testing and he did 100 launches while NASA hasn't done even one, now he has a system to be able to go up there every single month, and NASA hasn't even been able to do it in a year and got people stuck in the moon. This is the difference between when someone's moving at 100x versus someone moving at 1x. And what I'm trying to tell the entire planet, all of humanity, is that us as humans are moving at not 1x, we're moving at 0.05x. We're moving at half x speed. And the technology is literally 100x. Like, imagine on YouTube when you listen to videos. I don't know if you guys do it, but I listen to videos at 2x to 2.5x speed. I started off at 1x. Now I'm at 2x, 2.5. And when I tell you a 30-minute video turns into a 15-minute video, a 1-hour video turns into a 30-minute video, the amount of knowledge and the amount of input I can take because I've sped up my YouTube videos is dramatic. Now imagine if I can listen to YouTube videos at 100x, guys. Just think of what that means. Think of how much I can digest half of YouTube in a year. Like how much information will I have? How much smarter and better and better at business will I be? That is what you have in your pockets. That is what ChatGPT can do for you today. So I hope that answers why hard work is not smart and you need to be leveraging these tools to get the hard work done faster, quicker, and easier. And then another question I got here is, what's something small businesses still don't realize about how fast they could scale using this concept? So the number one thing that I think small businesses are failing at leveraging the superhuman technology we have today, they're not giving context. I talked about it earlier in the live. If you're not educating, it's like having a great employee. You just hired a brand new Harvard PhD engineer. He doesn't know anything about your business, doesn't know anything about who you are or what you do. But he's a Harvard trained engineer and can build anything, a computer, a rocket, a boat, anything you want, a toy, a house, whatever you want. What's the first thing you have to do? You have to educate. You have to give them context. I have to educate this engineer on, hey, I'm trying to build a czar, and this is a futuristic car that can go on the water, it can fly in the air, it can go on train tracks. I want you to help me engineer this product and this thing. I want it to look like a Tesla. I want it to be EV powered, like a Cybertruck. What could we do? Help me put it together. Here's my budget. Here's the team I have. Here's the resources, X, Y, and Z. Now I give that engineer all that data. Now it can go and start making schematics and feasibility reports and thinking of ways to make this happen, how to raise money, what networks to get into. But if I didn't give it no education, that Harvard engineer is as useless to me as a third grade intern. It's the same level of resource unless I educate and give it context. So my number one way for business owners to leverage AI today is to jump into ChatGPT, jump into Grok, jump into Gemini, and literally just tell it about yourself. Tell it who you are, tell it what you do, tell it why you do it, who you serve, how much you charge, what's the benefit and value that the customers get, and what you want to do with this